Hey, what's going on, my friend? So, today I'm going to share with you on how to overcome your food cravings and lose weight without giving up the foods that you love. Okay? So, if you're someone who is constantly battling with food cravings when you're trying to lose weight, or you think that you need to give up all the foods that you love to eat in order to lose weight, but that only end up makes you feeling deprived or stressed out, and you do not want to do that, then this training is for you. Okay, so if you're here with me on the live, just drop the word live in the comments, or if you're here catching the replay at a later on time, just drop replay so that I know that this training has reached you. Okay, all right, so let's go into this, right? So when it comes to losing weight, what most people are being told to do is like you got to go on a diet, you got to eat clean. What else? You have to cut out your carbs, your sugar. You're not allowed to eat this. You're not allowed to eat that. And like for example, you're not allowed to eat the foods that you enjoy. Maybe you're someone who loves to eat the nasi lemak, the char kway teow, and so on. But because if you want to lose weight, you're not allowed to eat all those. And logically, it makes sense, right? But what happens is when you do that, yes, you will lose some weight at first. Okay, you'll see some weight loss in the initial stage. But the problem with that is in the long run, it's just not sustainable, right? How many of you here is able to sustain that in the long term? Not many, right? And it's because due to its restrictive nature, you are being limited by a set of rules of what you can and you cannot eat. Then when you're under a restriction for a long period of time, in fact it's not really long, maybe after a couple of weeks, you start to develop unnatural cravings. Okay, you start to feel deprived and it makes you stressed. Then what happens? At some point you start to binge. All right, because you cannot hold your cravings, you start to crave, you cannot hold it, you start to binge. And basically, when you do that, then you go back to your old eating habits, and because of that, you do not lose weight, right? And it's frustrating, I know, and it's tiring, and it's also the main reason why people give up in their weight loss journey. So I would love to know if this is a problem that you are facing right now. Do you struggle with food cravings when you're trying to lose weight? If you do, just comment cravings below. And in this training, I'm going to show you a 3-step process to beat your food cravings and to help you to lose weight without giving up the foods that you love. Okay? All right. So, cravings. Okay. So, first things first, you need to understand why you have food cravings when you're trying to lose weight. Why cravings happens in the first place? Why cravings only happen when you are losing weight and not during the other days of your life? And it usually happens like this. Okay, there's a 4-step cycle that goes. The first part is restrictions, cravings, binge, and guilt. Okay, so these are the four key words that you need to pay attention: restriction, cravings, binge, and guilt. And it's actually a cycle that will repeat itself. Okay, so just to explain it a bit, so most people will start when you're trying to lose weight, they'll start with restrictions, right? It's the most logical things to do. You start to cut out certain foods, right? You start to cut out your carbs. You start to cut out the sweet stuff when you want to lose weight. Okay, and in most cases, it also includes cutting out foods that you love to eat. And this is the biggest mistake that anyone could ever make in their weight loss journey. which is when you start to label foods as good and bad, or you start to create a list of foods that you're you're not allowed to eat, and cutting out foods that you enjoy to eat, foods that makes you happy, is one of the biggest mistake. Okay, but people do it because it makes sense. It makes like making the right choice seems to be clearer. But the problem is, like I mentioned just now, is we are humans. We are not robots, and we are a complex being. We have a psychological and emotion side of ourselves. So when you cut out certain foods, especially foods that you enjoy, foods that we enjoy, oftentimes it triggers um some a bit of a positive emotion. And when you cut it off, your body or your mind will perceive this as a threat to its survival, and how it responds is you will fight back. Okay, it responds by cravings. Okay, so this is the second step. Okay, the second part. First you restrict, then after that, because of your restriction, you develop cravings. And you know when that happens, then we tell ourselves, okay, maybe I need to try harder, right? So the more you restrict again, and what happens is when the more restrict, the more your body will fight back, and as a result, the more you crave. And over time, the tension in you will build up, and there's a limit to that, right? So one day, when you cannot hold it anymore, you start to explode. You start to binge. Okay, instead of having maybe, let's say, a packet of Maggi mee, now you're eating 2 packets every day. Okay, because you've been depriving yourself for, I don't know, the many weeks or months, and your body cannot hold it anymore. So now you need to eat back all what you have left left out in the past few weeks. Okay, so that's why this, because you've been craving it for many weeks, right? So now it's time to have it all. Okay, and after you binge, what happens? You start to feel, most people will say, I feel bad. You start to feel guilt. You start to feel guilty, right? You start to feel that I failed, you know. Then what happens? You give up, or you might even go back to step one again, which is you restrict yourself again, and end up you're just repeating the same cycle over and over again. Okay, and you're not losing weight. It's frustrating and it's stressful, right? So it's like, you think of it this way, it's like you are trying to follow a super strict budget to try to save money. So you cut out all your non-essential expenses, like cut out all the activities that you love, no eating out. And at first you might say, okay, I can do this. But as time goes on, you start to feel deprived, you get frustrated and unhappy in life. Okay, it's just not sustainable to live that way. Okay, we are, like I said, we as human beings, we have a psychological and a emotion side of things. We need to do things that make us happy. Okay, so yeah, so these the also the main reasons why mainstream diets, fat diets fail in the long run. Okay, so you see, it goes through a four step cycle. Okay, which is restrictions, cravings, binge, and then guilt. And because of guilt, you start to restrict yourself again. Okay, so now you understand how it happens. So now, what is the solution here to beat food cravings and to lose weight without giving up the foods that you love? Okay, because we all want to lose weight, but at the same time, we also want to still enjoy the foods that we eat. So what can we do about it? So instead of cutting out foods completely, or label them as good and bad, you need to learn to eat right, and using a flexible and moderation approach. And this is what I call the flex fuel nutrition in my program. And I'm going to share with you the 3 steps here, okay, that you can take. So let me just go over to the screen. Okay. All right. The first step is, okay, instead of having the approach of what you of good and bad foods, of what you can and you cannot eat, what you want to approach is a food spectrum mindset, which is food exists on a moment. Okay, food exists on a spectrum. Okay, of less nutritious to more nutritious, and of course, it exists on like how much and how often you should eat. The one that is less nutritious, you eat less often. Eat less often does not mean that you cut off completely. Okay, you still can include it once or twice a week. And in the other side, the more often part is where you eat them in larger portions. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like I said, right? It's normal for people to categorize food as good and bad because it makes you making this type of approach makes the right choice seems to be easier. But unfortunately, it oftentimes leads to feelings of deprivation. Okay, and it's not sustainable. So instead of thinking them as good and bad, you want to think them on a spectrum. Okay. Now, the second step is once you have the right mindset towards food, the next thing you want to to do is you want you need to dial into your food portions for weight loss. Okay, it's like food portions is like you think of it like a budget, right? You cannot just say that, oh, next month I want to save up and I want to spend less. Saying itself does not do anything. We need something that is more quantifiable. Okay, so there are many ways you can do it. You can count your calories, but for for simplicity's sake, this is a simple way that I can teach you, which is you want to use your hand to portion out the size. And as a start, you may want to use 1 to 2 hand portions for each of the nutrients here, the protein, vegetables, and carbs. And I assume that you're eating 3 meals a day. Okay, so this is an example of how you can portion out your meals. And what you want to do is, this is key. You want to make sure that at least 80% of your meals comes from minimally processed, nutritious whole foods. Okay, which is happen on the eat more spectrum. Okay, 80% of the time you want to spend on this side of the spectrum, and the remaining 20% you can indulge in the foods that you love. All right. Okay. Right. So here are some examples of good carbs and fats, good carbs and protein that I recommend, which all of these they fall on the spectrum of eating more of the more nutritious side. Okay, so this is an example that you can pick from. And yeah, here is also for vegetables. Okay, we go by for vegetables, how we go about them, how we categorize them is by the different colors, which is different colors would imply different nutrient and health. Different nutrient profiles and health benefits. Okay, and the last step is, remember I showed you that there are 3 steps. The third step is eat foods that are sustainable for you and include foods that you enjoy. Okay, pick foods from the list that I shared earlier. Okay, once you have the right mindset, and now the second step is you get your portions right. Now the third step is now it's time to pick your foods, right? So what you want to do is you want to include foods that are sustainable for you, in the sense that foods that you enjoy to eat. Okay, and this also allows you to have some flexibility in life instead of following a rigid or strict diet that is not sustainable. Okay, just if you are someone who does not like to eat maybe beef, okay, you don't have to eat beef. You can always choose other source of protein. Okay, maybe you are maybe you are someone who does not like to eat bit, bitter gourd. Okay, bitter. It's okay. You don't have to eat it. That you can choose other form of vegetables. Okay. What is most importantly is, you see that I given you quite a number of food choices, right? So what's important is actually you pick out foods that you actually enjoy to eat, because if you are happy with what you eat, is how you can be consistent, and it'll be sustainable for the rest of your life. Okay. So and then as well, don't forget to include also include foods that like your treats. Okay. So if you're someone who love to eat maybe cakes, ice cream, yeah, you can have them. Just put it into your diet plan for, maybe you don't have to eat it every day, right? But maybe you can include them once or twice per week. Okay. And then I just want to share with you a fun fact here, that the origin of the word diet actually comes from the word dieta, which means a way of life. Okay. Nowadays, diet seems to been getting a very bad rap, right? Mm, Diet nowadays often implies like you need to follow a set of rules, but in fact, it comes from a word. The word actually means a way of life. Okay, it's not something that you do just to lose weight. It's a way of life. Is how you live. So why not let's do it like, you create a new way of life, or a lifestyle that will help you to lose weight, and it's sustainable. Okay, and all food can be actually part of your diet. Okay, and how you lose weight here is similar to how you live your life. If the method you use is sustainable, your results will be maintainable, and this is key. And when it comes to restriction, I just came up with this restrictions brings frustration, which is what you do not want to experience, right? But flexibility brings freedom. You want to live freely in life. Okay, as well as have a body that is healthy, have a body that you feel amazing in, right? Hope you are following so far. Okay, let me just get back to, yeah. So when you use this approach, when you learn to eat right, okay, when you learn about flexibility, when you learn about moderation, you put away all the strict rules and re- restrictions, and it allows you to stay consistent in your weight loss journey without feeling deprived. Because we all know that consistency is important, right? And you cannot be consistent if you're always being trapped in the vicious cycle of what? Of restrictions, of cravings, binge eating, and guilt. So you got to learn to eat right. You need to feed your body with nutritious whole foods, which is good for you and your health, while allowing yourself to have the occasional treat. Okay, foods that you enjoy, your desserts. Okay, and when you do this, that's how you can beat your food cravings, and you lose weight in a sustainable way, and have a healthy body that you feel great in. Okay, personally, I have not really struggled or experienced food cravings for man, many years. Yeah, and that is simply because I have include occasional treats. In fact, when I feel like having it, I will have it. And usually when I, how to say, when I give when I pamper my body, right? When my body craves something, I just feed, I just give my body what it wants in moderation. It usually the cravings you will usually go away. Yeah. And it's like when you do all this, when you learn to eat right, it's like you managing your budget right, which will boost your finance and your overall well-being. Of course, you need to have some form of control. You need to have some form of control in terms of your spending, and that is similar to the portion control part in our weight loss. But at the same time, you are not depriving yourself from occasional treats, right? Whatever that means to you. It can be traveling, can be dining out, and can be buying stuff, and so on. So this is a very important principle to understand. Don't make the mistake of over restricting yourself. And this is also how I stay consistent in my fitness journey for the past 14 years, and how I coach my clients as well. Because when you do it the right way, when you learn to eat right, you actually be surprised how simple and effective it is to lose weight. And the struggles that most of my clients face before this, they are more or less the same. They go on a diet that is not sustainable, then they all stop, then they regain the weight, and they just simply repeat process over and over again. And it's crazy because the truth is you do not have to spend your entire life trying to lose weight. You just have to do it right the first time, using the right approach. Like my approach is called, what is what I call the flex fuel nutrition approach, and you never have to worry about it ever again. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful, and if you found this helpful, just comment the word helpful below. Okay, there is a question. What is your take on stevia as sugar replacement? Okay, so in terms of managing your calories, or what I call earlier the portion control, stevia is a non-calorie sweetener. Okay, so it's definitely a good recommendation. Yes, I would suggest that if you want to cut off your sugar, but you're not able to do it overnight, stevia is a good option. Okay, because it has literally no calories. Yeah, and that's going to help you. Yeah, it's a good tool to help you to lose weight. Yeah, but on but on the other hand, also again, take it in moderation. Okay, hope this helps. Okay, let me just come back here. Yeah, so just to share with you some of the success stories that we have using a flexible approach. Okay, so this is some of our clients' success story. Um, these are the people whom they have tried going on diets in the past, but hasn't been successful. So these are the people who are also, just to give you a bit of a background, they are working professionals. Time is an issue. They struggle with busy work workload and so on. But when you adopt a flexible approach, you in fact, I mean, life and work is stress out already, right? So you do not want to add additional stress into your life. Losing weight shouldn't be something that is stressing you out. Okay, yeah. So if you have any questions, maybe you're someone who is starting your weight loss journey, or you're already in one but you're struggling to make progress. There are many resources that I've created over the past few weeks or months that I think it will be helpful for you, and it's going to be specific based on your needs and the specific challenges that you are facing. So if you'd like to have the access to these resources, just send me a private message. What we're going to do is we're going to have a chat to see where you are right now, and I'll be glad to point you, sorry, in the right direction. Okay. So lastly, just to recap this training, if you want to beat your food cravings and you want to learn to lose weight without giving up the foods that you love, first step is you got to ditch the restriction approach. Stop labeling foods as good and bad. And the second thing is you got to learn to eat right using a flexible and moderation approach. Okay, in which is what I call the flex fuel nutrition approach. Okay, and there are three steps to that. The first step is adopt a food spectrum mindset. Second, down into your food portions for weight loss. And third step is eat foods that are sustainable for you. Include foods that you enjoy. Because if you're happy with what you eat, you can be consistent and it'll be sustainable for the rest of your life. And remember, restrictions brings frustration. It's not good. Flexibility brings freedom. All right, so that's all I got for you today. And as always, stay healthy, happy, and have an amazing day ahead.